All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down the exact system that I use to build my consulting business to $30,000 per month, all at the age of 19 years old. Everything that we have behind a paywall inside of our mentorship program, I'm gonna be giving to you guys for completely free. And just for some proof, I can show you that I'm actually credible because I took my page from just a basic, regular personal brand around music with 1,600 followers, 1.7 thousand accounts reached in the last 30 days to 1 million views in the last 30 days, around 10,000 followers, generating $30,000 per month. As you can see here, we had a 9.3K week, $21.4 thousand collected through Stripe in the last 4 weeks. And for one of our other clients, Farid Abedini, who had a large following, he had 100,000 followers, was still not making the amount of money that he wanted to make. How was I making $30,000 per month with only 10,000 followers? And he was making that same amount with 100,000 followers. It was because the way he built his brand, the way he positioned his offer, wasn't suitable for the audience that he wanted to sell to. So we used the exact same system that I'm gonna be teaching you guys in this video today that took him to $64,000 cash collected in just 30 days. We used the same thing for Dylan Burr, except with Dylan Burr, he had absolutely no audience. He had no personal brand. He had no offer. This was him before. He had 350 followers. He had 100,000 views in the last 30 days, making $0 per month. We took him to first milestone. In the first month, he had 4,400 followers and he made $32,000 in the first month of working with us. And you can see how we took his views and dramatically increased it in just a time span of 1 month. And then in the 6th month of working with us, we got up to 50,000 and doubled his following again. So what I'm showing you guys here doesn't just work across one niche. It works across every single fucking niche because it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter if you're the best system, the best fulfillment. It all comes down to branding your offer. So the best personal brands are the ones that can connect an emotion to the desired outcome of their audience. So for example, if the desired outcome of your target audience is to make more money online, you want to convey some type of emotion or feeling when they watch your video that ties to that actual desired outcome. And that's what makes you stand out as a personal brand. Think of it from like a different perspective, like bigger brands out there like Nike, Coke, Apple, right? It's not about what they're actually selling, but it's about how you feel when you buy off of them, right? I walk into the Louis Vuitton store and I want to buy Louis Vuitton because it makes me feel more credible. It makes me feel more luxurious. It makes me feel like a more high status man. But I can still go down the street to Macy's and buy the same shirt without the Louis V logo. It's all about how you feel. It's about that desired outcome and tying the emotion to it. Same thing applies with a personal brand. So in this lesson, we're gonna be talking about how you can actually find your angle with your brand so that when people watch your videos, they get some sort of feeling or emotion that actually drives them ultimately to buying off of you. Okay, so here's this worksheet. You guys could find this again in lesson 4 right here on the side. Just click it and then just fill out a little bit of these questions here for you to give you some clarity when actually posting. But what you want to do is you want to understand, number one, what is your unfair advantage? So what you know versus what you do that most people in your niche cannot do. So what makes you stand out versus all the other people selling the same exact shit as you? That's number one. And I want you to fill that out right here. So for example, what do I know that most people in my niche can't? Most growth operators in my niche, they focus on building systems. They focus on having an amazing tracking system, focus on sales. But what most of them don't do is focus on personal branding. So just like focusing on personal branding can make me stand out from all the other growth operators. So think of your unique edge. Think of your unfair advantage. What can you do? What do you know that other people don't do in your same exact niche? Write that down there. And that is a big point of leverage for you when creating your content. And then under it, just have some proof that backs it up. So for example, if I've scaled my client, Farid Abedini, to $64,000 per month, all through personal branding, or my client, Dylan Burr, to $50,000 a month, all through personal branding, that's a big proof that I can leverage in there because the biggest thing that actually drives conversion is proof. It's proof. If someone sees, okay, I took this guy from where he was at currently to the desired outcome that my audience wants to be at, which is $50,000 per month, they're going to get fear of missing out, and they're going to want to be on the same exact train, because I took him from that point A to point B through the mechanism of personal branding. Now, the next thing I want you guys to focus on is the target belief to shift. So what does your dream follower currently believe right now? Before they're in that ICP mindset, before they're problem aware, before they're solution aware, what are they actually like believing right now? Because a lot of times the people that you're selling to are going to have some sort of like beliefs that fit the criteria of who you actually want to sell to, but your dream follower may not be there yet. So we want to actually understand like what are some things that our dream followers are currently believing. Maybe they believe that, all you need is systems. All you need is a good sales process to make $50,000 a month. And then under it, I can write what I want them to believe instead. I don't want them to think that a good sales process can get them to 50K. I want them to understand that it takes personal branding, because the sales, the systems is all just a byproduct of a good personal brand. Like if you have the best sales process, the best funnel, the best fulfillment, it doesn't matter if you're not generating lead flow. So what I can do is understand that this is my dream followers' current way of thinking. This is how I want them to start thinking. And this is how I'm going to take them from that way of thinking to this specific way of thinking. And just write them down there. And then in the next part, we're going to be talking about our current mechanism. So talk about your actual process's name. So for example, our process is the Alban Consulting Personal Branding System. And then just write down all the steps of the actual mechanism that you guys have at a high level. Break down exactly how you take them from where they're at to where they want to be, exactly what that mechanism is. Now, another thing that I want you to do is understand that if someone buys off of you versus all of the other competitors that you have out there that are selling the same thing, the reason they do that is because they believe that you're the only solution to their problem. And you need to figure out why your solution is so good versus everyone else's. So in this question right here, you can write why this works when other things won't work. Like, why should they actually go with your mechanism versus all the other people selling maybe, ads or sales? Like, why should they do what you're saying? Why is your vehicle to their desired outcome the best solution? These are some things to write down, because then in your content, you can create content that makes them so aware that you are the only person to go to solve this specific problem that they're facing. And then under here is just like a quick exercise. It's just a one-line positioning statement to help you with positioning your content, because every video you make, you don't need to specifically say like, I'm helping this person get this outcome through this mechanism without doing this pain, but you want it to indirectly show that, right? Like I can talk about, like, for example, if I'm helping coaches get more lead flow through personal branding, I don't have to say I'm helping coaches get more lead flow through personal branding. I could just say, as a coach, the number one thing that I implemented to get me the lead flow that I wanted was not focusing on sales, but focusing on personal branding, right? So without heavy sales process. So it's the same thing, right? I'm saying, as a coach, what I learned is that I got more lead flow through personal branding without having to rely on a heavy sales process. So indirectly, I'm just mentioning that. Indirectly, I'm positioning myself as the expert. Indirectly, I'm talking about who I'm serving, what outcome I'm promising them, how I'm getting them that outcome without doing X, Y, and Z. And after you have all this together, come up with one angle, talk about how you can position yourself differently, how you want to be perceived as with your personal brand, and just write it down in one sentence. So, for example, I want to be the growth op that focuses on personal branding versus a heavy sales process, because most coaches believe they need good systems and sales process to make money. So just write down what your angle actually is, and then go back to this, reference it in the other lessons that you guys are going to see, just so that you have intent behind every single post. Every single post you make, you should be coming at it with this angle that you wrote down there. That's it for this lesson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so before we start driving, for example, we want to know exactly where we want to get to. And the same thing applies to building a personal brand. So the thing that I tell everyone is, before you start telling me that your problem is, I figure out what you want your brand to actually look like. What do you want yourself to be perceived as? How? Right? And when you find out exactly what you want your brand to look like to the T, content creation becomes a whole lot easier. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to use this brand identity worksheet, which by the way is attached right here. You could just click it and then use it. In this worksheet, I want you guys to fill out a few things. Okay, so in this worksheet, you're going to understand exactly what your unique edge is. So why clients are going to best choose you, fill that out. What you do differently than other people. So for example, if you're selling a marketing service, why should clients choose you over 5 other marketing agencies? Like what makes you stand out? And before you tell me like, oh, I put the most effort into my clients, I'm focused more on fulfillment, realize that these are things that every single other one of your competitors are saying. You need to have a unique edge, and it sometimes comes down to something personal about you, nothing to do with the business. So figure out why clients best choose you, what you do differently to have that unique edge. Why do people compliment you? Like, what kind of things do people compliment you on? And by the way, these are things you can ask um, your clients after you actually onboard them. So we have a form that after everyone pays, they fill out a form that asks them these types of questions. So that way we could use it in our marketing as well. Like we could ask them, what made you want to buy off of me specifically versus 5 other one of my competitors? And then I can make a video around that topic. So I think like getting data from your audience and your buyers is actually very, very important as well. And that can help you out in the long run. So figure out, what do people compliment you on? What's your unpopular belief? What's your point of view? Like what makes you unique in your thought process, right? Like for example, the best personal brands are brands that are very strong in one topic and stand against one topic very strongly as well. For example, I'll give you a topic. Andrew Tate. He's very strong on like being rich and very strong on like hating people that are poor. Right? That's one example. There's tons of other examples out there that you could probably think of. Think of your competitors, right? What do your competitors stand for and what do they actually stand against? And with every single one of these questions on this worksheet, you could always just relate to your competitors and think of like, okay, why do clients best choose my competitors? For example, my competitor might be Suway. Why do clients best choose? Why do clients always choose Suway? The reason they choose Suway is because, you know, he's constantly investing into new mentorships, and people know that they can get access to higher amounts of information, right? More expensive information investing into Suway because Suway is constantly investing into themselves. Another thing is that Suway has built massive amount of trust with his audience. They know that Suway would do anything for his clients, right? That's one example. So figure out like what do your competitors stand for, what do they stand against, and then come up with your own ideas. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? And you'll just fill them all out over here. After unique edge is done, we want to figure out exactly who our dream follower is. So in the first lesson, you watched exactly what a dream follower is versus an ICP. So it gives you a better understanding of exactly how you can fill this out. So think of, who is your dream follower? What's their day-to-day look like? What kind of things do they want in their life? Like what's their desired outcome? Think of that. What is their actual desired outcome? What would they pay you to get from you, right? What are things that they're actually struggling with right now? So what are some things that are obstacles and maybe holding them back from getting to that desired outcome, getting to that transformative state? Think of their biggest fears. So like, what are things that are like actually holding them back from like maybe stepping over the edge and booking in that sales call or paying you? Like think of those types of things. And then another thing that you should think of, which can really help you out in your content, is what creates trust fast with your audience. This is really important. And once again, you can relate back to your competitors and just kind of diagnose their videos, deep analyze it, and figure out like what are they doing to create trust with their audience in their videos. Like it could be concepts, it could be things that they're talking about, whatever it is. And then on the other side of things, like what actually do they avoid because it kills trust with their audience fast. Okay. So after you fill out these 5 questions, you'll have a better understanding of who your dream follower actually is, which can help you with implementing better top of funnel and middle of funnel videos. Now, for the third one, this is understanding your buyer, so your ICP. So like we talked about in the first lesson, your dream follower is the biggest, broadest audience that you have, right? The most broad audience you have without, obviously you can go more broad than your dream follower, but if you do, there's a really low chance of them buying. A dream follower is at least someone that has the desires that you want, right? They're somewhat interested It just takes a bit more content consumption from them to get over that edge and become an ICP. So the ICP is the dream follower, but you have to figure out exactly these three things. So this buyer, right? What is his role? Where is he at in the stage of like buying? Like, how much revenue do they have? Like, how much revenue are they actually making, and what's the timeline that they've been watching your content for, and things like that, right? You want to figure out what's their main bottleneck as well. So what's a pain point that they're facing on a day-to-day basis, the main one that you actually specialize in solving for them. Another thing is bad fit signal. So you want to write out a few things of clients that might be bad fit, because the thing is, you don't want to take on every client. Like, you might get that when you're first starting out, especially if you're having a bad month, you tend to take on new clients that maybe don't fit the criteria of your ICP. But when you really focus on only taking on specific types of people, your fulfillment becomes better, your client results get better. And then think about it like this: if your client results get better, you can leverage that in your content. Therefore, you can bring on more clients because you're just constantly posting middle funnel proof. So yeah, understanding your buyer, where they're at in the stage of actually buying, the main bottlenecks they're facing on a day-to-day basis, and then just some bad fit signals so you can avoid those types of people. Now, moving into the fourth one, this is proof. So it's important to post proof as well, because proof is what gets people to want to buy, right? They have a fear of missing out. Like, if we're on this train where everyone around us is winning, everyone else is going to want to be on the same fucking train. So I want you to think about the best types of proof that you can show. So maybe if you're a sales coach, the best type of proof that you can show is your Fathom recordings, right? It doesn't even have to be just like a testimonial on a Google Meet, but you have to think of different ways that you can approach showing proof indirectly, without just like directly hopping on a Google Meet and showing a testimonial. Because it's gotten to the point where like no one wants to watch a video just because it's a testimonial. Your testimonial or your proof has to be indirect. So you have to find different ways, different concepts to create where you're still showing your testimonial. You're still getting the point across that you helped this person get from this stage to that stage. But the video is not directly around that, right? It's just inside of the video. It's indirect. So what can you show weekly on a day-to-day basis? Like, what can you be showing on your stories, in your reels? Like, maybe wins from your Discord community, or student wins, student text messages, whatever. Think of different ways that you can show proof without having to rely on just like one specific concept, right? You don't want to only just rip, like, for example, calling your client up and asking him how much he made. You don't want to just rip that type of format. You want to rip as many different types of formats as you possibly can rip. And think about also like what actually makes objections disappear. So retrace back to your sales calls, watch your Fathom recordings, ask your sales manager, look at your end of day closer reports and see like what are objections that you're actually getting, and then think about how you can make those disappear with your content. For example, like if I'm getting a lot of objections, like, I'm not ready to invest in myself. A content video that I can make is like talking about how I invested in myself and that genuinely changed my life, right? And then the people that watch that video, it handles their limiting beliefs. So next time they hop on a sales call, you're not going to get that objection. And what people think is like content is like a post today, you're going to get a sale today. No, you might. But if you post today, you have to understand that every time you post, you move the client one step closer to buying. It might take 3 videos handling 3 objections for someone to actually be ready to actually pay you. But it's all about just understanding the things that people might be objecting to or the limiting beliefs that they might be having, and taking it step by step so that when they are in that position where mentally they're prepared and they have the finances to actually work with you, they will. So that's for proof. Now for objections, I want you to name the top 3 objections that you guys are getting on sales calls or in the DMs or whatever it is. And then find some proof for each objection. Like, what can you do to handle that objection? Like, what kind of client results do you have that could handle that objection? For example, right, if someone is saying like, I don't know if I can join your program because I don't have that much time. You can show a testimonial video of you transforming your client from maybe working in 9 to 5 with only an hour a day on his hand to making 10K a month or whatever he's making. And then the client that thinks that he needs a lot of time is going to watch that video and realize that you were able to get this result with a minimal amount of time. So he's going to be like, what makes me actually different than that? Right? So it's all about handling every single objection until the only objection you're getting is just logistical, like finances. Like, it should be to the point where like they see the value and the only objection they give you, if any, is I don't have the finances or I need to break it up into payments. That's where you want to get to. And then the top 5 questions that you get repeatedly. So name out the top 5 questions that people are giving you on a day-to-day basis. So that way we can make content around that as well. So that way all they have to do is just watch our videos and the sales process becomes a whole lot easier. We don't want to rely on a heavy sales process, heavy closing. No. If our marketing is good enough, we'll get paid in fulls and DMs. Like, I just got a $500 payment like last week through the DMs. I didn't hop on a call with a guy one time. And the reason for that is because people can trust me just through my content. My content does that sales process for them. It takes them through the journey of like being aware of who we are, nurturing them, handling their limiting beliefs, handling their objections, bringing them into that mentally ready state, and then converting them. Simple as that. So name out the top 5 questions you get. And after you have the top 5 questions there, we can make content around it. Now, moving into number 6, these are just new client answers. So you want to copy and paste these from your onboarding form if you have one. If not, go ahead and create an onboarding form. Like, what are you doing? That's like the minimum you should be doing, is collecting feedback and data from people that paid you. That's like, why would you not want to have data and feedback from people that paid you? You want to know exactly what kind of videos made people buy, what made you stand out from all your other competitors, how long were they watching your content before they actually paid you, and what you can do to actually improve your content as well. Those are things you should ask them. And you're just going to copy and paste them all here. So ask them like what pushed them to act now. Another one, what's the biggest hesitation that they had actually before joining? This is so important. I don't know why I missed this one. But a lot of times, like, I ask people, like, what's their biggest hesitation before joining? You'll get different types of answers. You'll get like, oh, I just didn't have the finances. Oh, I just need to talk to this person. But most of the time, it comes down to just like limiting beliefs within themselves. And when you know exactly like what hesitations people had before they paid you, you can make content that handles those hesitations. So that way you put that fire out and don't get it anymore in your sales process. So ask them that. Ask them also what content influenced you the most to actually take action. And then link that video there. And then you can go to your video that you made and double down on it. Create more of those concepts. Because if you have a proven concept in your content that brings you leads, that brings you clients, there's no need to try testing different formats. You can just rip that format as much as you want, right? And I'm not saying just copy and paste it. I'm saying figure out what made this video stand out from everything else. Was it something that you said? Was it the 3 seconds in the video beginning? Was it the lighting? Was it the background? Was it how you were dressed? Figure out exactly what made that video an outlier versus all of your other videos, and then double down on that. That's content creation for you. Cool. So moving into number 7, this is personality. So we want to talk about what should people feel when they actually hear you. So again, how do you want to be perceived as in the market, right? Do you want to be perceived as an authority? Do you want to be perceived as the guy that knows what he's talking about? Do you want to be perceived, like, what do you want to be perceived as? So think about, what should people feel the moment when they see your videos, the moment when they hear you? Talk about that. Put that in there. And a good thing you can do is ask people that have bought off of you. Always go back to this, right? Ask people that have bought off of you, how did you feel when you first heard about me? Because when you collect more insight, you can, once again, improve your marketing. And I can't stress this enough. It's so important to do that. And I know a lot of you guys probably don't even have onboarding forms, which kind of sucks, but implement that right now, right? There's no time to waste. And then think about the natural tone that you actually want to have. Are you going to be direct? Are you going to be calm? Are you going to be funny? Are you going to be intense? Like, how do you actually want to be perceived? For example, there's different types of tonalities that you have in content. Nick Setting, a bit more intense, right? Sue, a bit more calm, right? Some people are a bit more direct. It depends. How do you actually want your tonality to be? Because you don't want one video for you to be super energetic, super upbeat, and then the next video for you to be super depressed and super calm. You want to match a brand, because once again, if someone watches one piece of your video, that first impression is how they're going to remember you forever. So if you have another video that completely throws them off, then you're not really building that brand image in your mind, right? A good personal brand is a brand where you have tons of things to be remembered by. I'll give you an example. Brett Scales, the Fiji water, right? He was remembered about that. Like someone said that his grandpa owns Fiji water, even though he didn't, but he kept milking he kept milking that out and kept pushing it out because now there's something that's sticking. People are thinking about it. People are relating it to Brett Scales. So he's going to continue to post more of those. And I think that's what made him stand out. Again, his Lamborghinis, again, his cars. Those are different things that makes him stand out. So think of the things that make you stand out as well. Like what are 3 human things that you can show on a day-to-day basis that make you stand out? Label them all down here. And then number 8, this one's a little bit more simple. What are the primary platforms that you're posting on? So obviously you should be posting short form and long form. So number 1 should be YouTube. Number 2 should be Instagram. And then if you're doing TikTok or Twitter or whatever, just put it there as well. And then just your weekly posting rhythm. So like tell me how many times you're posting a day. Typically, I tell everyone that they shouldn't be posting 1 time a day when first starting out. They shouldn't be posting 3 times a day when first starting out. They shouldn't go for volume. They should optimize for quality. And they should just be testing videos and making super intentional videos to see which ones are getting us the most quality followers, which ones are bringing in the right people. And then we can double down on that. And once we have a proof of concept, we know what works, what doesn't, then we scale with volume. Okay, cool. Next one is the high trust asset. So we want to figure out what are we doing for like our high trust asset? Where are we going to drive all of this like short form, top of funnel attention? We want to drive all this traffic to one specific one specific place where we can nurture them and then ultimately lead them to like a conversion, right? There's different things you could do. You could have a YouTube video that talks about what your actual offer is, handles objections in the video, and then at the end, calls to action to book a call with you or to pay you, whatever. You can do a webinar. You can book a call, however you want to do it, but you need to have a specific place where, there's an asset there, right? It shows exactly what your offer is. It talks a little bit about you. It handles objections. It moves the buyer closer to buying. That's the main thing. Now, the last point in this lesson, and I want you guys to really understand this, is finding out your mechanism. So what is your unique mechanism? What is your mechanism that takes a person from the problem that they're facing now to their desired outcome, right? It's about taking them from the pain to the result through a unique mechanism. So, for example, my mechanism is Alvin Consulting Personal Branding Strategy. What is yours? Now, when you put a name to your mechanism, you no longer are like every single person else. That's the whole thing about personal branding. It's all perspective. It's all perception. I could sell the same shit as the guy down the street, but I have more videos up. I have more high converting content, more assets, more following, more credibility, more authority, and I can charge 3 times the price that he's charging for the same outcome. That's what it is. Now come up with a mechanism. Think of the deliverables that are in it. Come up with a good name, and then plug in who your actual ICP is that you're helping, the desired outcome, which is up here, that you're transforming them to get, and the mechanism that you take them through. So for example, for me, I help coaches scale to $50K a month through the Alvin Consulting Personal Branding Strategies. Okay. Well, that's basically it. That's lesson 2. All right, what's going on, guys? In this Loom video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how to build high converting story sequences. I'm going to go over an example that I actually did for a client of mine. And then in real time, I'm going to be building my own story sequence, and you guys are going to watch and see exactly how I do it in real time. So sit down, take notes if you need to, be in the stationary, quiet environment, because we got a lot to go over. Okay, first things first, I'm going to go over the example that I've done already. This is a story sequence I did for one of my clients. His name is Jordan Galindo, aka Jordan Cuts. Basically what he does is he helps barbers build their social media presence, build their personal brand, so that they can increase their prices by getting more bookings, because now people are coming to them for them, not just because they want to cut. They're specifically choosing that barber. They can increase their prices. They can get more bookings. They can not have to rely on the shop. if they're relying on a shop. And they can get to 10K a month plus as a barber. That's the desired outcome that we're promising them, the transformation. So before you build your story sequence, it's a good thing to actually understand your brand identity. So if you haven't got the chance to do the branding forms yet, it's in our SOPs. You can go ahead and do it. It's at ramaalvin.com/SOP, and then go ahead and do the brand identity form. But if you have done it, you should know already what your desired outcome is for who you're serving. You should know what pains they face, and you should know your own unique mechanism. Those are 3 things to keep in mind when doing this. Because with this story sequence, what we want to do is we want to talk about a lot of the desired outcomes and then talk about the pain and then our transformation and our mechanism that we actually use to connect them from point A, which is the pain they're at, to point Z, which is the desired outcome that they want to have. And the actual vehicle to getting there is us. Now, there's multiple ways to make story sequences. You can make it on like Instagram, literally just take a photo, put it on your story, and then like add text on it. Or you can make it like this in Canva. And I think when you do make it in Canva, it's higher conversion because of the fact that like it's just built more and it stands out. Like you see 5 different story sequences next to each other that are all made on Instagram, and then you just see one that you made on Canva, and it's like super put together, super professional. It looks good. It's positioned well, and they're going to stop scrolling for yours. Okay. When it comes to story sequences, we actually have like a framework you could follow. It's here in like a Notion document, and it breaks down like this story sequence that I did for my client Dylan Burr, and it's a similar structure that I followed for him. Basically, what we're doing is we're telling them to stop scrolling at the beginning because we have an announcement that's going to grow their business if they pay attention. So same thing here. Their desired outcome is to have more bookings, to make 5 figures a month plus as a barber. So that's literally what we put the desired outcome there. And then we just ask them, stop scrolling. So call out, barber, stop scrolling. I have an announcement that's going to potentially bring you in 20K a month in bookings. And that is the first slide. So instantly on that first slide, the barbers that want to get 20K a month in bookings are going to stop and hear you out. You ask for their attention and you tell them exactly what it is so that you give them a reason to continue and watch the rest of the video. Now, in the next slide, literally what I did was I copied this and then I just added what else I wanted to add. And just some proof. I added proof because Jordan actually did make $20,000 last month in bookings. As you can see right here, he made $19,870. And that's what I did. I just put the proof there. So first slide, they decide to actually watch the rest of the story sequence to continue to go through it. And then in the second slide, I give them even more proof and credibility and a reason to actually watch and hear it out. Like in the first slide, the only reason they want to continue is because they want to achieve 20K a month in bookings and they want to hear us out because we said we can help them get there. And then the second slide, we just double down on that and we're telling them, hey, you better fucking listen to me because I actually did this. This is the proof. I'm actually backing this up with 20K a month. You can see right here. And then I go into just transitioning it. You don't have to add this, but I did. Just another slide saying, so listen closely. Just to kind of add that authority in there. So it's like, hey, this is going to help you get 20K a month in bookings. Look, I already did it. So listen closely, pay attention. Okay. Now, next one, I switch it up and I change the picture because these are like this is kind of like the intro. I like to think of it. Like the first 3 are kind of like an intro, kind of asking for their attention, giving them proof, giving them a reason to actually watch. And then this is like the body of it. So I completely changed the picture. It's a new picture, but it still matches the aesthetic. You don't want to have random pictures. You want them to kind of match the aesthetic and make it kind of go through like an actual story. Obviously match your brand's identity with the photos as well. You don't want a random photo that has nothing to do with what you're actually providing or what your beliefs are or your brand identity. But here, I kind of just talked about, the desired outcome. So for Jordan, he's like, for the longest time, I've helped local barbers. And what I do is I highlight like words that are keywords. So it kind of stands out and it adds that contrast. For the longest time, I've helped local barbers increase their prices, increase their bookings, and build a strong personal brand so they can establish their own clientele rather than relying on a shop to stay booked up. So again, I'm doubling down on the desired outcomes that people actually want, that our ICP or dream follower may want. This is the lifestyle that they're looking for. This is what they actually want. They want to increase their prices. They want to increase their bookings. They want to build a strong personal brand so they don't have to rely on a shop. They want to rely on their own personal brand to bring in clients, their own clientele. So I just listed out a bunch of desired outcomes, and then I go into talking about the mechanism that we use to actually get that outcome. It's the exact same personal branding system that made Chris the 10K a month barber, taking him from someone who relied on the shop to having his own personal clientele. Again, highlighting the keywords, and then also here I just added a picture of Jordan and his student that he actually was able to achieve this result for. And then once again, just so you guys know, I'm picking two colors to kind of go with. It's white and blue. And I'm not like changing the colors at all. It's always going to be the same thing because it matches, right? You want the colors to actually match and contrast. So yeah, I talked about the desired outcome. I backed it up with proof, showed the actual mechanism we used to get there, the personal branding system. And then after he kind of just doubles down on that proof. So he's like, not to mention, I've used this system across a countless amount of barbers in my area. And then it just has more proof, more results, helping them achieve the same result or better. And then kind of just kind of like talking about a old way of thinking and then introduce a new one. So a lot of these guys, what they think is like, it's impossible to increase their bookings because all they're relying on is the shop. So like in their mind, basically they're like, okay, in order for me to get to 20K a month as a barber, I just have to have a miracle where a lot of people walk into the shop. So you have to crush your old way of thinking that your prospects may have and introduce a new one in your story sequence to actually get them 1% closer to conversion. So what I did was I was like, okay, it always seems impossible until you see it happen for others. So crush their old way of thinking, introduce a new way. None of these barbers believe social media can actually get you booked up, can help you get in demand, can help you increase your prices. But it always seems impossible until it happens for others. So that's what we did there. So we backed it up with one case study, went in depth on this one, and then just showed, okay, we got more. Didn't really go in depth on it, but just added perceived value. Like, look, there's more. Bam, 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 bam. We helped them get the same result as Chris, if not better. It always seems impossible until you see it happen for others. And then we go into transitioning into actually asking them to CTA or convert or whatever you want them to do. And for the first time ever, I'm launching my Elite Barber Inner Circle, again, highlighting the keywords that matter. It's an exclusive free-to-join group with like-minded barbers who are looking to scale to 5 figures a month consistently. Okay, so before I go into the CTA, I kind of talk about, again, in summary, who this is actually for. I kind of give a breakdown of like what the offer is. In this case, it's just like a free community. But if it's like a, if you're helping someone scale their ads or whatever, you could be like, for the first time ever, I'm helping 3 to 5 people scale consistently and predictably with paid ads. And then you kind of just want to talk about like who it's for. This is for coaches, consultants, and agencies that are stuck doing under 10K a month. Or this is for barbers that are like-minded like you, who are looking to scale to 5 figures a month consistently. So give a breakdown of that. And then you're going to see a lot of people drop off on this slide just because in this slide, they kind of know what's coming. Like they kind of know what's coming. They're like, okay, so there's the inner circle. I'm going to choose to either go to the next slide where I can join the inner circle, or I'm just going to click off because I'm not interested. But people clicking off is not a bad thing. People clicking off is actually a good thing because you don't want the people that are not interested, that are not really warm, that are not really ready to convert to click and join that yet, right? It might take more story sequences from them. It might take more content consumption, reels, YouTube, whatever. But you're going to see a huge drop off on here. You're also going to see a huge drop off on here. And then next one, I'm just keeping the same wording, but I'm just adding the CTA under it. So just copy and paste this, duplicate it, and then add the CTA under it. So now I'm just like, okay, swipe up saying waitlist to actually get access to join. So that's a breakdown. It's 9 slides. And that's kind of like why I did everything that I did. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build an exact same one for me. Not the exact same thing, but it's going to be something similar for me. I'm giving away my personal branding SOPs that I was talking to you guys about in the beginning of the video. So these are just SOPs that like people can use to help build their personal brand. This is what I'm going to be CTing in the story sequence, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. So first thing is first, you want to pick a few pictures that you actually want to use in the story sequence. So a good smart thing to do is like actually build a drive for yourself. If you just like don't have any of your content stored, I don't know what you're doing, you're wasting time. The way I structure my drive is like I have speaking content, I have B-roll, I have testimonial, funnel videos, pictures. And then in my pictures, I just have every picture that I take and I just upload it to here so I can use it whenever I want to use it. But yeah, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pick like 2 to 3 photos. And yeah, I'll get back to you guys right after. Okay, so I actually went ahead and picked the 3 photos that I'm going to be using. I'm going to show you guys exactly right now what photos they are. But first, I want to show you how to actually create it. So you're going to click the top left in Canva. First, you're going to go to canva.com and then you can click the top left. And you always want to use the Instagram post right here. The reason why I say use this one is because, you know, this is the format for Instagram. So you're going to click this. And I'm going to show you exactly what images. So you just drag them in. It's really simple. So this is one of my images. Just align it. Sometimes it might not fit. This one low-key fit perfectly. You could duplicate it by clicking this right here. It's a tool you're going to be using a lot. I just drag in all my photos first, align them so I have a copy of each photo perfectly aligned. Because the last thing you want to do is like have multiple slides on the same image and then one of the slides, the image is moved. So when you skip the stories, it looks weird. It looks like it's moving. You don't want that. So fix this first. Boom. And then my last image right here. Yeah, so I mean, you guys can kind of see the theme that I chose is like kind of grainy, but not like really grainy. I want to say it's more like a older camera type of style, but I got 2 images from the same shoot and then one from a different shoot, but they kind of match up. They don't have to be all from the same shoot, but you know, this is what we got. So these are our images right here. Now I'm just going to click the arrows up and down to kind of see which one I want to work on first. This is the one that I want to work on first. And then I want to do a few slides on here, like the intro. And then I want to do the body on here. And then I can CTA through this one. Okay, so when I'm doing my text, what I do is I come to elements right here. And then I use this element. It's called, here, I'll show you guys exactly what it's called. So you can search it up. It's literally called square. So if you search up square, yeah, right here, this square pops up. Let me move me out of the way for a second, and this too. I drag in square, and I align it like this from the top to the bottom, and then I make it black. You just go here and make it black. And I know it looks weird right now, but basically what I'm going to do is go to a spot where like, this is where my text is going to be, the blacks. So what I do is like, I put it here, size it out, see like where I want my text to be. I think it would look good with having me on this side and then the text on this side. And then the key is go here, click transparency, and then kind of fade it in. You don't want it to just be like black, straight black, because then it looks like just like a bar next to it. You want it to kind of like fade in, be a little transparent like that. Maybe even a little more. Like that. Yeah. So now like you can kind of see that it's darker on this side, but it's not too dark. This is where our text is going to be, and it's just going to make our text pop out a whole lot more. So that's kind of what I do to make my text pop out. So we're going to start with the copy. You're just going to click text, click add text box, and just write the copy that you want to use. The main thing is you want to kind of maintain the same font for the whole time. Same exact concept as like having the same brand colors. Like when I was highlighting the blue with Jordan, it's the same exact thing. You just want to use the same font the whole time, or use 2 different fonts, but you don't want to like kind of change from them too much. I'm going to use Lotto for this one. And then I'm going to do my first slide, which is the intro, which is like giving them a reason to continue to watch. So I'm going to say something that matches my style. I'm going to write it out and I'm going to show you guys. Okay, guys, so I got my copy here. This is how I'm going to start it off. I recommend you hear me out because I'm about to teach you exactly how I'm signing 3 to 5 new clients every single week. The reason why this is powerful is because the desired outcome of people that I'm serving to, this is different than Jordan's, that I'm serving to, they want to be able to sign multiple clients every single week through an inbound system, through their personal brand. Again, what I'm CTAing is this personal brand SOP. And the whole point of it is to help people get inbound leads, inbound clients. So that's how I'm going to start it out. I recommend you hear me out because I'm about to teach you exactly how to get your desired outcome. Now, this looks a little funky right now, but I'm about to fix it up for you guys and show you exactly in real time how I do so. So I'm going to go to Tools. I use this right here, this little line thing, and I'm going to just put it right under there. Boom. And then for my brand colors, it's not going to be blue. It's going to be red because I'm about to teach you exactly how I'm signing 3 to 5 new clients every single week. Make that a little smaller. Boom. Maybe make this capital. Exact. Make these all capital. It's low-key the little things that matter. But yeah. Okay, cool. So boom. I think that looks good. Maybe like dots here. Okay, cool. And then again, I'm just gonna highlight the words that really stand out. Signing clients. Teach you exactly how I'm signing. Yeah, that looks good. Just coloring everything. Okay, I think that looks good. But yeah, just like take a look at how just small things like that honestly transform it. And if I were to look at this page without the color correction, without lining everything up, without even this line in the middle, without changing the capitals, without aligning everything so this sentence is under here and it's not mismatched, all those little details, they add conversion. They bring you closer to conversion. The person, whoever's watching this, has a higher chance of converting if they're looking at this versus the basic version versus fucking this shit. Versus this. Right? There's a higher chance of them converting from this right here. So that's the first slide. Okay, and what I'm doing now is following the similar structure that I did with Jordan's. After I give them the reason to watch, I'm gonna double down on that reason with straight proof so that the drop-off rate is actually lower. There's lower people that will drop off because they know that whatever I'm saying is actually backed up by proof. So I took 2 screenshots of payments that I got, a $4,000 payment that I received through Stripe, and then someone paying me in full through the DMs. So that's good because I'm actually going to show like, okay, I'm getting payments through the DMs. So my personal brand is so strong that I don't even need a sales call. So yeah, so I recommend you hear me out because I'm about to teach you exactly how I'm signing 3 to 5 new clients every single week. And maybe we could put it. Okay, boom. Let's readjust this a bit. Let's readjust this. I'm gonna readjust it and I'm gonna let you guys know. Okay, so what I did was I actually aligned it like this, and I'm gonna put the text at the bottom. It's gonna be like without having to hop on sales calls, because also that's like an old way of thinking that people have that I'm kind of crushing and reintroducing a new way. The old way of thinking they have is that they might need to have a sales call to close people, but in reality, if you have a good enough personal brand, you don't need to close every single person on a sales call because look, I just closed this person through the DMs. So I aligned it like that. I clicked over here, added the stroke, and then I went over here and added my brand colors. So now the stroke kind of has this on the edge of it. But yeah, so this is gonna be my first slide. And the reason why I'm not breaking it up into 3 to 4 slides, like having this on it and then this on it and then that and then that in 4 different slides, is because I want everything in one slide to increase the chance and the likelihood that someone's gonna go through the entire story sequence without dropping off. Because even if someone is very qualified, someone is ICP, someone is exactly who we're selling to, if we have 10, 15 slides, it's just going to add friction for them getting to the end. We want to make it as easy and seamless as possible for them to actually convert. So we have this. Do something like that. Put it here. Boom. Take this, put it here. All. Okay, now I'm just going to adjust it. Okay. Maybe make this a little bit darker. That's good. All payments of the DMs without taking a single sales call. Boom. I think that looks good. For our first slide, honestly, that's pretty solid. I'd move this down a bit. Like that. Maybe move that down a bit more. Take up as much space as possible. And I think this is good for our first slide. Now, what I'm going to do for the second slide is just click duplicate and then add or remove whatever I want to do. But it's the same exact framework that you guys are going to follow for all of them. I'm not going to go through every single fucking slide. You guys know exactly how it should be. I broke it down on Jordan's example. And then I kind of did my first one with you guys here. And that's exactly how you guys are going to structure your story sequences. So you can optimize for maximum conversion and make it stand out and not look like every other person's stories. All right, guys, welcome to the lesson. We got a really fire topic today, turning dream followers into your ICP. So a lot of you guys come to me with this confusion of who I need to target when making organic content. Like when you're making videos on a day-to-day basis, right? Like we talked about, we should be posting anywhere from, the base minimum should be 1 time a day, but we want to go upwards to 6 times, even 10 times a day. But we want to optimize for quality, right? It's good to post with volume, but we want to optimize for quality. So Should be posting at least one time a day, upwards of 6 to 10 times if you really want to shoot for volume. But when you're making videos, you don't want to target your ICP. That's a common misconception. Because if you target your ICP is very, very small and niche and very narrow audience. You're not going to reach a broad audience by targeting your ICP. And just for some clarification, your ICP is your ideal customer profile. So the person that already has the finances to work with you, the person that is already in the position and faces the problems that you solve. I'll give you an example. If I'm a marketing consultant that helps you get more leads for your business, and my ICP is a business owner that is struggling with leads inside of their business, you see how I'm solving their problem? Same thing here. So if the prospect is facing a problem that I solve, they have the finances to work with me, they're eager to actually start, they trust me, and they're committed to solve this problem, then they're my ICP. Whereas a dream follower may not have the finances yet, they may not trust me yet, and they may not even know what I do yet, right? They just maybe aligned with something that I said, they related to a piece of content that I made. So long story short, you want to make content for your dream follower, because eventually if your dream follower watches enough of your videos, they will turn into your ideal customer profile. And that's kind of the marketing strategy that I've applied. That's worked tons of times. I mean, you guys see the results. We're turning attention into real dollars. We're like extracting money from people watching our videos, and it's mind-blowing. But this is the streamlined system that I've used, and I put it into this doc to explain to you guys exactly how I'm doing it countless amount of times. Because okay, let's say I'm making money one time off of a video. That's cool. But I'm doing it back to back to back to back. So you can see that this is proven to work. And the issue is that most creators try to sell things too early. They make content for their ideal customer before they've even built trust with their dream follower. And the truth is that your dream follower becomes your ICP when you lead them through the right sequence of belief, proof, and action. So instead of leading with bullshit, you lead with actual value. Instead of leading with motivational videos, mindset videos, you lead with actual value and show that you are credible at what you talk about and what you're selling online. Because there's tons of people out here that, they make motivational videos and people just want to buy off of them. But if you're leading with value, you're going to continue to stay in the market and you're going to dominate the market. Okay? So when making organic content, we target our dream follower. When running paid ads, we can pay for actual attention with ads. It's different. We can still get viral videos by targeting our ICP with ads, whereas we can't do that with our organic content. So your organic content needs to target your dream follower, and then when you're recording paid ads, they're talking specifically to your ideal customer profile. Okay? Now, just to go over it again, your dream follower is just a person who likes you and your ideas. They might relate to you. They've watched your stuff. It might inspire them. They probably fuck with you a little bit. Whereas your ideal client profile is a person who both likes you and is ready to buy help from you. They have the problem that you are solving. They have the money and they have the motivation to actually solve that problem with you alongside them. The process is super simple. So it's like the funnel. The top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel is first. You make content to attract your dream follower. So you just get attention from your dream follower. They follow you. And then you show real wins on your page. So you show real solutions, real case studies, real testimonials, real client success stories of you solving problems that your dream follower may be facing, right? And then now they start to trust you, they start to become more nurtured. And then lastly is where we add the conversion mechanism. So your follower reaches out to you for help, maybe through our appointment setter or through an opt-in on an application funnel or whatever it is. They convert from just being a dream follower at one point to being nurtured to turning into our ideal customer and then converting over to an actual sale. Super simple. The overview flow is simple. They go from our dream follower to the story sequences to maybe some ads or funnel. And then after they opt in, they're our ICP and client. Because I want to put this into the best possible way to say it. You don't really find your ICP. You don't find them. You create them. People don't realize, but you actually have power over your audience. You could literally say whatever and then kind of hypnotize them to do that. I'll give you an example. A lot of people are afraid to invest a lot of money online. So I made a video saying I invested my last $2,000 into a program because I did 2 years ago. But me saying that kind of pre-handles that objection that I might get on the sales call where they say, okay, I've been scammed in the past. I don't know if this is worth it. I'm not comfortable investing this much money. But if they've seen my video saying like, okay, I've done it and I think you should put your money where your mouth is, make the investment, invest in your skills, your knowledge, whatever. The people that watch me and hop on the sales call already handled that. I've already handled that objection without even needing to be on the call with them. They've just watched my piece of content and it's handled. So what I mean by this is every single piece of content you make should chip away at an objection that your clients are facing. So that's why I like to make videos with clients because that's leverage. That's proof of concept. When people are saying, okay, what if it doesn't work for me? You show them a video of you with your client that was in the exact same situation as that other client, and then you're like, okay, look, it worked for this guy who's in the same situation as you. It's proof of concept. There's nothing people could say because in this market, the biggest leverage you can have is testimonials, client results, case studies. That's the only way you're going to stand out, right? So get a lot of testimonials, get a lot of case studies, and every video you make, listen, people come to me every day and say, what videos should I post? It's simple. What objections are your clients facing? What objections are people giving you on the sales calls that's ultimately not leading you to close the deal? Just make a video on that. Because then if your audience sees that video, it's gonna reframe their way of thinking. It's crazy the power you can have in posting videos, but if you really just track all your data and figure out what people are saying, you ask people, get insight. You need to know exactly what people are thinking. You need to know if someone buys off of you, you need to ask them, hey man, what piece of content ultimately led you to the decision to buy off of me? Because now we know it works and we can double down on that piece of content because it's attracting the right people. So we're just going to make more of that content. Super, super simple. But as long as you actually have data to back this up, you will get so much more further in this market than you could if you were just to wing it or make a guess. Okay? So after we create our ICP by attracting the dream follower, we nurture them, build belief in them, show them that what we do actually works, and then we extract the buyers. We just filter out the ones that have the money. Super simply, we could ask them in the DMs, hey, do you have the finances to work with us? Qualify them there, or we could qualify them on a form, or even have our appointment setters triage them and qualify them on the phone. Regardless, we just want to extract the buyers through our backend system. Okay? Same exact system that I've taught you guys in the past, the ANC method, attention, nurture, and convert. It's the same system you use here. We have the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. Top of the funnel being attention, when you post motivational, traffic ads, value videos. Middle of the funnel being nurturing. So we show them client wins, frameworks, breakdowns, genuine value, FOMO. The more client testimonials you put in front of them, the more fear of missing out they have. We post a video of us in a room I post a video of me at dinner with 3 millionaires who are my age, right? And they're going to be like, damn, bro, how's he hanging out with people this age? They have fear of missing out, ultimately leading them to buy off of us fast because they have fear of missing out. There's urgency there, right? This is all marketing strategies. And the more you psychologically put your mind, you shift your way of thinking from perspective and into perception. That's when you realize you're thinking of it from your side. Think of it from the prospect side. The prospect, for example, I'll give you a quick example. I don't want to get off track, but let's say I walk into In-N-Out today. I'll give you a better example. Let's say I'm walking down the street and I see one restaurant that kind of sticks out to me. And I walk in there and I buy a donut. I want to know exactly why that stood out to me out of every single other restaurant and why I went in there and gave them my money and not all the other restaurants on the street. Because now you're thinking of it from the consumer side of things and not the producer, right? We're always thinking of it from the producer side of things. How can we make these people buy off us? How can we market this in X, Y, and Z, right? Just think of it. It's super simple. Reverse engineer it. Just think of why you buy some certain things and then market it that way towards you. Super simple, right? So if you're selling online programs, online courses to a certain customer, chances are you were that customer at one point in time. You were that ideal customer profile at one point in time. You were the person on the other end of things, searching for courses, searching for programs, and then you got the solution you were looking for, and then decided to start your own. Okay, so think of what were you doing? What are some behaviors? What are some attributes? What are some characteristics you may have when looking for courses and stuff like that online, and then just reverse engineer it and market towards that. Okay. So when I'm attracting my dream follower, my goal is to make them believe in my vision, not what I sell, but specifically my vision. Because ironically, the people that indirectly sell, what I mean by this is like they don't even say they sell anything. They just post value and then people buy off them because they give so much free sauce. They're like, damn, what the fuck am I going to get when I actually pay for it? Right? Those are the people that make the most money, not the people that are telling you, hey, buy off of me, buy off of me, buy off of me, right? The people that indirectly sell are going to continue to dominate this market because they're doing 7-figure months. I'll give you an example. Alex Hormozi, for example, bro. We know it. He made $3 million in 11 fucking minutes. And you look at any of his pieces of content and you don't even know that he sells anything. Like, you can't tell, right? But when he does sell something, there's so much fear of missing out that people will buy instantly. Okay, cool. So I make them believe in my vision and my values before they even know what I sell. So I could do it with talking head reels to show my values, my identity. I could do it with storytelling clips to build relatability with the person on the other end of the screen, and just like insight snippets and stuff to kind of establish authority. I don't do any call to actions. I don't tell them, book in a call, fill out this form to apply. I'm just posting content, just building trust, nurturing my audience, because I know eventually if they see enough pieces of content of me, they're going to buy off of me. I don't need to tell them to buy. If they watch me enough of times, they're going to buy off of me. Okay. Phase 2 is nurture. So after we get an engaged follower that actually follows us, we want to turn them into a warm, ideal customer. So our goal with this is to make them believe that we can actually genuinely create results, not just for ourselves, but for our clients. So I post story sequences tons of times. You could check out my stories. They're filled with client testimonials, client results. Like, your thumb will get sore if you're just looking through my freaking results, because that's the thing that's going to keep me continuing to make 5-figure months, right? So the goal with that is to not sell them with logic, but to connect their emotional drivers to the logic and sell them on that. Okay, so I could be like, for example, my client Ben, he just made $3,000 off his first booked call. I just plugged in a sales rep for him, and the first call that he booked was a $3,000 paid in full. He runs a fitness coaching program, and he charges $3,000 for 3-month access, and he got $3K paid in full off his first book call. So that could be a great story sequence. I also offer frameworks, so I could give free resources. All I need for you is to just opt in. Give me your name, email, phone number, and I'll give you this resource for free. And then after you use it, I'm going to call you up, or my sales reps are going to call you up, book you on a call, and I'm going to close you for a high ticket program. Okay. So many things you could do there. So you should be posting stories daily. You should be posting long form on YouTube weekly, because there's this Harvard study that it takes 7 hours of content consumption to be able to make you buy something off of someone. So if someone watches 7 hours of content off me, it's going to take way longer for them to consume 7 hours by scrolling through my Instagram versus them watching a couple of my YouTube videos, which is why I'm super, I emphasize building your YouTube personal brand, because that's forever going to be leveraged in this market, right? People watching long form videos of you really gets them to understand you on a more personal level than they could ever understand you watching your Instagrams or watching your TikToks, because those are short 60-second reels that you can edit, that you could kind of change up. But if someone sits down on a YouTube video for 30 minutes, the chances are they're super interested in what you have to say, or they find what you have to say valuable to them, because no one's crazy enough to sit down and watch a YouTube video for 30 minutes and not think that what you have to say is genuinely valuable. So use that as leverage. Post YouTube videos solving objections that your clients may be facing. And then you're not going to get like 100,000 views, 200,000 views, because those problems are very niche. But if you're getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views,
you know that those are qualified people that are definitely facing the problem you're solving. And then you could just extract the people that have the finances and sell them on a high ticket program. Because it's easier to sell expensive programs to small markets than to sell expensive programs to big markets. Because it's a smaller problem, it's a more niche problem, and there's more demand for it to be solved. Okay. And phase three is just the conversion. So after getting that warm ideal customer, we want to actually take them into being a paying client. So let's say we have 100 ideal customer profiles, right? So 100 people are facing the problems that we solve. 100 people are motivated to solve this, but maybe 80 of them have the finances to work with us. So we can only work with 80 of them. Realistically, if we're closing at a 50% closing rate, we should be able to convert 40 of them. So we want to make it easier for warm followers to take the next step. And in order for us to convert 40 of them, we can do it with these DM campaigns. We could do IG form campaigns. We could do call campaigns. There's different things we could do. We could have our DMs that are DMing people. We could have people opting in for a lead magnet. We could have people opting in from an ad, DMing from an ad, going straight to our VSL and booking a call. There's so many different ways. And I go over that in other lessons inside of the program. But this is just for, getting clients. This is just for client acquisition and finding out who your dream follower is versus your ICP. I hope this video gave you guys clarity because this was super, super important for you guys to understand. Before you can go out there and hire sales reps, before you can go out there and manage teams, before you can go out there and actually charge people, you need to understand how to market yourself, because there's no point of having a killer sales team if you're giving them shit leads. So learn this, take notes, and you're going to be chilling.
Okay, so the part that most people struggle with is ideation. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about exactly how to ideate content, how to come up with infinite ideas, not bullshit ideas, but ideas that are intentional and will move the needle forward inside of your business, meaning leading you one step closer to client conversion. Now, before I actually get into any of it, I want to let you guys know why I actually put this as one of the lessons at the end of this course and not just like at the very beginning. The reason for that is because to come up with ideas, you want to know exactly where you are. I said this analogy earlier on, but it's like driving with no destination. You're just infinitely going to be driving and you might feel like, in the moment you're going somewhere, but you're really not leading yourself anywhere. So if you want to come up with ideas, you need to know exactly who your competitors are. You need to know exactly what your brand is going to look like, the identity of your brand. You want to find your unique angle. You want to actually understand dream follower versus ICP. So you know if this video is for a dream follower or if it's for an ICP. But after we got all of that done, now it's time to come up with actual ideas. So most people, what they do is they run out of ideas because they're pulling from the wrong sources. And inspiration is going to dry up, right? It's not like I wake up every single day and have inspiration. I have ideas. That's not how it works. But when you create a system where you never fucking run out of ideas, then that's how you make the most amount of money. Your audience's real conversations will never dry up. Every time you post a single video, there should be a purpose tied to an awareness stage. So not just something that made you feel like, okay, it's a good video or it might be interesting. You should never want to post a video for entertainment. Because in the current moment that we are in this market, people don't want to watch videos for entertainment anymore. Right? As even the people that want to buy off of you want to watch videos for education. They want to be educated. So what I've created for you is a system that gives you a 30-day content bank so that you can fill it in and then pull from it every single week. These are just some sources that you can look at to come up with ideas and stuff. It's right over here. If you guys click it, just right there. You guys can see all that stuff. It's right under the lesson. But moving into the actual worksheet, this is a worksheet I designed for you guys for 30 days of fucking content. You can just continue to add rows whenever you want. But what I want you to do is link the video here. So what I do is I go always back to my competitors. So on that competitor sheet that I gave you guys, reference back to that. So go look through some of your competitors, look at some of their videos, check out the comments, check out the likes. Don't just pick a video because it has lots of views. That doesn't mean shit. Look at a video and see if this video is attracting buyers or not. If it's attracting buyers, then try to find your own unique twist to it and literally just copy the link, come back here, put the source right there, and then talk about the idea pulled, talk about the content type, talk about the awareness stage, right? So the content type could be either like a value video, like an education value video, a storytelling, talking head, like those selfie style videos, maybe a mirror board video, whatever type of video it is, you're gonna write it down there, like the concept of the video. But this is the most important part, the awareness stage. So there's like 3 different stages of being aware, right? There's like not problem aware, there's problem aware, and then there's solution aware. So you want to know like what stage of these of content does this actually like, so what's awareness stage does this content fall into? Does it make someone aware that they're in a problem, or does it make them aware that they're in a solution, or is it just talking to our ICP? Is it just talking to our dream followers' desires? It's super important, because a solution aware video would be a bottom of funnel where we can convert. A problem aware video could be a middle funnel where we nurture, where we handle objections, where we break limiting beliefs. And then a video that is just targeted towards our dream follower, talking about their desires, could be a top of funnel video because it doesn't really talk about the problems they're facing, the solution that we may have. But just having a bunch of video ideas down here and talking about like why this idea is good for you, why it's not, is super, super important. And another thing is, we also gave you guys access to this content system. It's at the bottom. If you have to request it, do so. I'll accept it. But you want to give access to your team to be able to systemize the entire process. For me, I have a creative director that every single day will come in here and write a content idea, add the content type, even script out videos if they need to, and then attach a reference video to it, just so I know exactly like why this video is working, why he thinks it fits my brand, how I can change it up a little bit and add my own twist to it. But you have access to the content system to systemize your entire content creation process. So you come up with one idea, and then you can drag it to filming once it's being filmed. And then the videos that need editing obviously could be here. And you can attach your actual raw file to it when you record it. And then whichever ones your editor is editing, he'll move it into here. And then once it's done, he'll move it into here, and then you can revise it, or whoever on your team handles that part can revise it, ready to post, and then you move it into posting. So there should be a few people that have access to this. It should be obviously you. It should be you. It should be your editor. It should be creative director if you have one. But yeah, this infinitely helps you come up with ideas, because when you think of an idea and you just like forget about it, a lot of times that happens. So when you think of an idea, you just come in here, you write it down, and that's what I've been doing, and it's really helped me out. I'll show you how we do it here. Consulting Client Hub, boom. So these are some of the videos that we're working on currently. Oh, it doesn't even show up here, but yeah, so like that's basically how it goes. You just write down the content idea you want, systemize it, and yeah. Phase 1 is the bulletproof offer. So I've broken it down into 4 categories. The first one is ICP clarity. The second is the mechanism. The third is the outcome. The fourth is the stack. So most people think that when they make an offer, they believe that they need to make it as broad as possible, so that way it appeals to the most amount of people and they can get the most amount of sales. But that's just not true, because when you are not scared to exclude people, everyone feels spoken to. And when everyone feels spoken to, you end up selling to nobody. Your offer needs to be built in a way where if your ICP looks at it, they're like, holy shit, this offer is built for me, specifically for me, nobody else. That's how you know you have a killer bulletproof offer. And just to go more in depth, you can create offers around the specific stage in which the prospect is in. I'll give you an example. My ICP is coaches and consultants. Now, there's different stages of coaches and consultants. There's the coach and consultant that is first introduced to personal branding. There's a coach and consultant that already started personal branding and now needs help with the systems. As you go through the process of being a coach and consultant, you might solve one problem, you might solve another one, but there's always gonna be more problems that keep on arising, and that's exactly how you craft an offer. That's how you craft the best offer. An offer that you can sell once and then never make money off of it again is not a good offer. You see, I wanna be able to solve a specific problem for my prospect And then also figure out what is the next problem they're gonna be facing so that I can create an offer around solving that for them as well. That way I can maximize my client lifetime value and end up just cash collecting more money, because it's not like your offer is the end all be all for the prospect. No, they're gonna end up running into a different problem that either you can solve for them for money or someone else in the market is gonna do. And it's much easier for you to solve it for them, because if they've already paid you, you made them money, why wouldn't they do it again? So that's the number one thing I would say. Find the specific problem, specific stage that your prospect is in, that your ICP is in, and craft an offer around that to get them from point A to point B. And then when they're at point B, create an offer to get them from point B to point C, and so on and so forth. So the more specific your ICP is, the less competition you have, because nobody else is speaking directly to that person. This is a good thing to understand. When you are talking to someone that's very broad, everyone else is talking to them. But when you find a specific problem, and you can get as niche as you want, that is when the prospect feels like they are being spoken to personally. Now, before creating an offer, you need to know the exact frustrations that your ideal customer faces, the things they want out of working with you, like the desires that they want, the pain points that they're facing. These are all important things, because you need to be able to connect them from the pain that they're in to that desired transformation state that they want to be at. And the mechanism that's gonna get them there is you. Another thing I realized is that if your ICP jumps on a sales call with you and you pitch the offer and they don't see themselves actually working with you in the first 3 seconds, that offer is shit. You need to change your offer. And a lot of times the offer is the last thing that people blame. And that's why they don't end up making money, and they go through like this trial and error phase where they just fix, their marketing, their sales, their systems. But it all just comes down to the offer. All roads lead down to personal branding and offer positioning. That's all it leads down to. So if you ever have a bottleneck in your business, look at your offer. A quick thing you can do is just add a guarantee, or make it more bulletproof, or be more specific with who you're targeting. Those are 3 things that you can do right now to actually create a bulletproof offer. Now, you can also get more clarity on your ICP after giving onboarding forms to people that already bought from you. Use those forms to your advantage. Onboarding forms, feedback forms, all of those things, even DMs, can help you out in the long run, because over time you can craft a more niche and specific offer that sounds even more personalized to the prospect. An offer you have today doesn't have to be the offer you use for the rest of your life. You can always craft your offer and make it even better and refine it. So I'll give you an example with one of our clients that we worked with. My client, Ben, he had a bio that said professional fitness coach, and then we positioned it and changed it to something more specific rather than just like professional fitness coach. That's super broad. We changed it to something more specific, saying helping men lose fat without losing their life, and I'll show you exactly what that resulted in. So this was him before. He had 2,000 followers before he came to me. He had 93,000 views in the last 30 days. In just a time span of 1 week, yes, I'm saying this correctly, 1 week, 7 days. We took him from 100,000 views in the last 30 days to over 1 million views in the last 30 days. And he grew like 200 followers, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is that with his first book call, he collected $3,000 paid in full. $3,000 paid in full in that same week. And this is exactly what the result of having a perfectly positioned offer and a personal brand, which intentionally is posting content to attract dream follower, to attract ICP, to extract buyers. That's the result of it. When you do things intentionally, that's the result of it. And I can show you that for proof, because this is only a time span of a week. He had never made money with his online fitness business in the past before. And in just a time span of a week, we completely changed the content he was making, and he got a $3,000 paid in full. If this doesn't prove to you enough that personal branding and offer creation is the most important part of running coaching and consulting, then I don't know what the fuck will. Now, the second thing I want to go over in phase 1 is the mechanism. So without a mechanism, you're just selling a commodity. You're just sounding like everyone else. And when you have a mechanism, a unique one, you are selling something that nobody else in the market is selling. Even if it's the same deliverables, even if it's the same one-on-one coaching, it's the same shit. When you have your own unique mechanism, you're selling something that no one else is selling. The mechanism is not what you do, it's how you do it differently, and why your approach is unique and different than everybody else's. Now, just to give you some clarity, that doesn't mean you have to include different deliverables in your offer. You can have the same deliverables, but what is your unique edge? Why should they pick you over every other person in the market, and what else? Why should they do it now? 2 things. Why should they pick you over every other person in the market, and why should they pick you right now and buy off you right now? Those are 2 things that you need to ask yourself. A mechanism gives your offer a name. It gives your offer structure. And what it does is it actually gives you a reason to be chosen, to be separated from every other person in the market. Without a mechanism, your prospect is always going to be comparing price versus price, right? If they get on a sales call with another coach that has a cheaper price, they're just going to go for them. What is your unique edge? That's what's going to make you stand out. And the mechanism just needs to be tied directly to the outcome. That's what actually makes it believable. You're going to name it, explain it in one sentence, and make sure every single piece of content you post is intentional and ties back to your unique mechanism. And it's branding your unique mechanism for you. I'll give you some examples, guys, because a good way to actually understand your brand identity is through some of the worksheets that we have inside of Alvin Consulting. So if you guys want it, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll give them to you for completely free along with the SOPs. In this identity worksheet, we have like 6 or 7 of them. It helps you understand exactly why clients choose you, who your ideal customer is, and your unique mechanism as well, and so many other things so that you have full clarity on making content. All of our clients that had the best months went through all of these forms. They made 10 times more money because now the content they're making is not bullshit. They actually know exactly who they're serving, what their unique mechanism is, what each piece of content is doing for their personal brand, and if it's actually moving the needle forward and leading them closer to conversion. So if you guys want access to that, once again, just shoot me a DM on Instagram. The link will be in the bio of this video. But the next part of phase 1 is just the outcome. So the outcome is the only thing that at the end of the day your prospects care about. Not your process, not your credentials, not how many years you've actually been doing this, but the single specific transformation that's gonna get them from point A to point B. That's what they care about at the end of the day. So what is it actually like on the other side of working with you? That's what they care about. Your outcome needs to be super specific. It can't be more leads. That's not an outcome. It can't be consistent inbound calls. That's not an outcome. It needs to be a specific outcome that changes their personal life. How are they going to feel as a business owner when they have more leads, right? That's the transformation they're looking at. The lifestyle they want to live is just on the other side of getting more leads. So that's not their desired state. More leads is not more desired. That's part of it. But their desired state is being that business owner that's respected, that has the business of their dreams, that feels fulfilled with themselves. It's much more deeper than that. And if you're in sales, you know this better than I do. And this is also important. Can they get this outcome anywhere else? Give me a reason why they cannot get it anywhere else. That's so important. Because if they feel like they could just get this outcome by themselves or with someone else, or if they feel like you are not really the solution for them, and there's other solutions out there for them, why would they choose you? They need to feel like you are the only solution to their problem. Nobody else in the market is. Not themselves, not the other coaches, you. And if someone sees exactly what your offer entails, they see the value in it, they see how it could take them from point A to point B and get that transformation that they've always wanted, they're not gonna be in price-based thinking. They're gonna be in value-based thinking. How can this actually help me get that transformation I've always wanted? I'll reference back to Ben. His outcome is not fitness coaching. It's I'll help you save your life by losing weight. I help men save their life by losing weight. That's the outcome. And when you have this dialed in where your outcome, your ICP, and your unique mechanism all align so well, prospects will feel stupid for saying no. You will not get any no's. And just to show you guys, also we have an offer branding worksheet that, once again, you can get access to if you just DM me. I'll give it to you for free on Instagram. And to my next point in phase 1, the stack. So most consultants, they're underselling because they think a good service is enough. The offer stack is what separates a 3K offer from a 10K offer with the same exact core deliverables. So just adding a guarantee can remove all the risk from a buyer and puts it on you. If you are not willing to guarantee the results, you don't even believe in your own offer enough. You see, I have a guarantee because I believe that I can genuinely get these people results. And if you can't give your prospects that type of certainty, then you're going to get crushed by the people that are actually fulfilling for their prospects, and they're so confident and convicted in their product that they can give these types of guarantees. Another thing you can do to increase the perceived value of your offer is just extend the length. If your offer is 3 months, make it 6 months. If it's 6 months, make it a year. If it's a year, make it lifetime, right? Just increasing the time span of your offer just gives so much perceived value, and it makes them feel like, okay, he's actually working with me for longer, or I can get much more out of this. And if you have a cheaper or more expensive offer, you could either remove or add deliverables. Doing that is perfect, because if you have a core fundamental offer that solves a specific problem, and then you have offers built around that solve the same problem but with just less deliverables, it helps you streamline the entire process. For example, one person might only need one-on-one coaching. One person might need hybrid coaching. One person might need hybrid coaching plus course content. And going back to the point that I talked about earlier, you can create an upsell that's the same solution, but it solves the next problem that the prospect may face after the first one is solved. And to just give you guys some insight, I want to break down exactly like how my offer works. So I have a done with you and a done for you offer. So my done with you offer, the deliverables are pretty simple. We help you build a bulletproof offer, so position, priced, and packaged so you have full conviction going into every single sales conversation. We help you build consistent lead flow. We guarantee that. So through a personal brand on YouTube and Instagram, built to attract the right people without chasing anyone. We'll build you a 180-day content plan done for you. So you have all the content that you need to make in the next 180 days. You get access to all of our SOPs and frameworks that we use to scale. You also get one-on-one weekly calls, access to our community, group coaching. Now our guarantee is that if you don't generate an additional $10,000 within 6 months, I will personally refund you all of the money and give you an extra $500 on top. And the reason that we can make this type of offer is because we're super confident in what we do. There's never been a time where I actually have not made someone $10,000 in 6 months, because if I don't feel confident that I could even do that, I wouldn't even onboard them into my program. So a good thing that I do is like make this guarantee. So the reason I made this guarantee is just to give people that certainty that they might need to move over the edge and actually buy. Because worst case scenario, they get all their money back and $500 on top. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, they get all the ideas, they get it all implemented to their business, and they completely transform their life. They have constant inbound, they have a personal brand, they have a good offer, they know what to do next with content. And with the done for you offer, it's the same exact deliverables, except now we are onboarding a sales team and we're helping with fulfillment support and we're giving them the backend systems implemented for them. So it's the same offer, just more things added to it. And that goes back to my point where I said you can add or remove things from your offer. What I did here is just added more things because my done for you is my more expensive package. And we also just priced it in a different way where we do revenue share basis, but it's the same exact guarantee. And that's how I built my offer. You guys could build it in a similar way. And if you want to take the time, you could like pause the video and look through here. But I'm super blessed to be in the position where I can actually be confident in giving that type of guarantee because, like I said, we've done it back to back to back to back.